have a baby Yoda at the top of my shirt, and so it might blend in perfectly with the green screen, so forgive that if you ever see his head pop out and it blends in with the green screen. Sorry about that. So, hello people, today I'm going to be doing a ranking of all 8 Best Picture nominees. Yeah, the Oscars are this weekend, and I'm very much looking forward to them. It's more of a interesting season because, you know, there's the 2020 movies where we didn't get that much. So I'm curious if in an alternate universe, if anything else would have been nominated. And I'm curious if Dune would be in the picture at all. But we can't. That's not the reality that we are in right now. So yeah. Anyways, let's get to number 8. My number 8 is Mank. I like this movie, and just because it's in last place doesn't mean I think it's bad. I just think it's the one I liked the least out of all of them. And it's mostly due to I was kind of bored for the last 30 minutes of the movie. And while I was bored, I still really much respected what they were doing. I just wasn't as invested as I was before. The technical part of this movie is just absolutely genius. And probably, technically, this is flawless, but it never really grabbed me and said, "You're watching this movie now." I was intrigued for the first hour, or for the first hour and a half, and that last half hour, 45 minutes, I was just kind of checking the time. So, yeah, coming in at number 7 is Promising Young Woman. This is a very good movie, and I gave this movie a 9 out of 10. So, like, all these movies for up and up are I really like. And it's a very good movie. It's just my main problem with it is that towards the end, I don't get all the answers that I want. And because throughout the movie, you kind of learn how this is more of a revenge story than what it was kind of marketed to be. And it doesn't necessarily go the way that you think. And so by the end, you kind of learn, okay, this is what really happened. Well, they hint at it before, but I didn't get all the answers that I wanted, and I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, they make some choices at the end, and if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. And a lot of people aren't on board with that, but I think it's more, people view this as like a character piece, but I think this needs to be more viewed almost like as the Joker of this year, because it really is. Because once you see the movie, you know what I'm talking about, especially with Carey Mulligan and her fantastic performance. It's really much where I think it becomes almost the Joker. And that's where I think that Carey Mulligan's going to win Best Actress, just because Joaquin Phoenix didn't give a similar performance, but on paper had a similar thing happen to them. And so that's why I think that she might win. This actress category this year is a mess, so I really don't know. That's my prediction, but I have no clue who's going to win this Oscar this year. I don't think anyone does, besides, you know, the Academy. Coming in at number 6 is Judas and the Black Messiah. I really do enjoy this movie. This movie grabbed me from beginning to end, and I just really enjoyed it throughout. My biggest problem, though, is when I think back on this movie, do I think about the overall story, or do I think about standout scenes? And I sadly only think about the standout scenes, because when the movie gets good, it just gets that good. And there's some connecting scenes that I just don't think are as good as the rest of the movie. And that's where I think, because you could tell they really poured everything out in specific scenes, and some other scenes not so much, and that's more of a not plot scene, but more of a setup payoff scene. And so I don't think I can almost tell what scenes the actors and the director and who cared about more than what other scenes were doing, if that makes any sense. And so that's why I think I only think about specific scenes. If you've seen the movie, you probably know what some of those standout scenes are, because it's, 1, tension filled, and 2, just fantastically directed. And yeah, but I still really, at the end of the day, really like Judas and the Black Messiah. Daniel Kaluuya gives a fantastic performance, his best performance, and he's going to win Best Supporting Actor without a doubt. Coming in at number 5 is Nomadland. Nomadland is one of those movies that just grows on you and makes you want to watch it more. Even though it might not be the most intriguing movie of all time, there's something there that just makes you want to go watch it again, watch it again, watch it again. I've seen this movie 3 times now. It's the most I've seen out of all these nominees. And so maybe that's why it's on the lower list, because I haven't watched these movies as much as I've seen Nomadland, so I pick up on the flaws a little bit more. But at the end of the day, Nomadland is just a fantastic movie, fantastically directed by Chloe Zhao. Frances McDormand gives a fantastic performance. The cinematography here is genius, and as someone who lives in America, it felt like I was almost exploring it myself. So all of that was great. And I think everyone's biggest problem is the story is just lacking, but that's almost the critical side of me. If we're going purely based on something I almost enjoy, I think this would be about number from like 2, 3, maybe 4. I don't know, I haven't really thought about it. But yeah, Nomadland, fantastic. And just the fact that, by the way, on paper, I don't know, the thing that bothers me is I don't know if I should praise the script or not, because I don't know what's scripted and what's not, and it just kind of boggles my mind, just because if it's something isn't scripted, it's really that good, or if they were scripted out and they told their stories. Anyways, just another great movie. Coming in at number 4 is Minari. Speaking of setup payoff movies, Minari is one of those. Setup payoff. And especially but the best thing about Minari is that they all pay off at the same time just by simple actions. And they get really emotional at the end, especially with the dynamic between Alan Kim and the grandma. I don't want to mess up her name because I just don't want to offend anyone. But yeah, I don't want to mess up her name. Sorry about that. Yeah, Alan Kim and the grandma's dynamic are just fantastic, and how it comes together at the end of the movie is just great. And they're the standouts of the movie. Steven Yeun is great too. I've been following him since Walking Dead. So yeah, my only nitpick is we know the dad, the kid, and the grandma so well. I felt like the mom and the sister were kind of left in the background, especially the mom, and she would just kind of standing there crossing her arms the whole entire movie, and she never really had much to her beyond that. But my favorite thing about this movie is that you could feel the director of this movie. They said a lot of this is inspired off of his childhood, and you could definitely feel by the care and love he just puts into this movie. You could definitely feel it once you're watching it. Coming in at number 3 is The Trial of the Chicago 7. I've seen this movie twice now, and the first time I gave it an 8.5, and the second time I just absolutely loved it. I wish the Oscars would do an ensemble award, because I feel like this movie just deserves that so much. The whole entire cast just gives a fantastic performance all around. And yeah, the trial scenes, well, the whole movie is basically a trial scene. All those are really great. It's almost like a montage where it's basically a 2.5 hour, well, how long is this movie? It's basically a 2-hour, 10-minute montage that's just so amazing. Sacha Baron Cohen is great in this movie, and I'm not going to even talk about the cast anymore because they all just do a fantastic job. They tell the story very well, and they tell it in a way that keeps you intrigued, and you'll see once once you actually see the movie yourself. But when I was watch this movie, I came off of Pieces of a Woman, and so I was expecting everything that happened within the first 20 to 30 minutes, and then the movie never necessarily takes off from there. But this movie finds a way to find a fantastic balance between the two to keep you riveted from beginning to end. And yeah, this is my Trial of Chicago 7 is my second choice for screenplay. I don't know. We'll look at it. I don't know. And if it doesn't get screenplay, it's going to walk out of the Oscar list, sadly. Coming in at number 2 is Sound of Metal. I just absolutely adore this movie. I did watch this twice as well, and the second time it didn't hit as hard, but I wasn't necessarily paying as much attention, to be completely honest. So that's where I'm going to go with how I felt the first time. First time that this movie is just fantastic. It just, if you told me what the movie tries to tell you by the end, I would have been like, oh my god, that's terrible, it's so sad, why would they do that? But by the end, and you see everything the way it plays out, and you're in his shoes the whole entire time, you're like, wow, they tackled this message very well. And I don't want to say exactly if you haven't seen the movie yet, but yeah, Sound of Metal, Riz Ahmed just gives a fantastic performance, his best performance I've seen him give, because the only other movie I saw him in is in Rogue One. So yeah, Sound of Metal, fantastic movie, fantastic sense of community, and it just makes these bold statements, then they completely justify them in every way. Coming in at number one, which is I think everyone's number one, is The Father. Anthony Hopkins gives one of the best performances he's ever given, and should win Best Actor, but Boseman's gonna get it, and I completely understand. And I feel bad for saying Anthony gave a better performance, but it's true, sadly. But if I had to pick who would get the Oscar, I would pick Chadwick Boseman, just because it's his last chance, and he did give a fantastic performance in Ma Rainey anyways. He did give Anthony Hopkins' performance was just so top tier in The Father, and Chadwick Boseman was top tier as well. It's just, sadly, Anthony Hopkins got the slight edge for me, but besides that, Chadwick deserves it. But we're not talking about the Best Actor category, we're talking about The Father. The Father is just a fantastic movie. It's a dementia movie that tells you the story within his eyes, and it's just incredible. I've never seen a movie quite like this. I never heard of a movie quite like this, and it's just riveting from beginning to end. And also, Olivia Colman, forgot to talk about her. Fantastic performance as well. Fantastic. And I did hear rumors of her getting a... Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure there was rumors for her being in a Marvel project, which surprises me. But yeah, The Father, it's just also a very sad movie. Like, I've never seen a movie as sad as The Father, but it definitely tackles a lot of themes with the elderly and ones with dementia, and it just brilliantly, I've never seen a movie so brilliantly try to describe something like this movie does. And it doesn't describe it through just the description of Anthony Hopkins. It shows his point of view, and it's just absolutely genius. So yeah, anyways, that is my ranking of all 8 Best Picture nominees. Looking forward to the Oscars on Sunday. We all know Nomadland's gonna win, and yeah, if Nomadland does not win, I don't know I don't know what they're smoking. Well, personally, I think, the Father's the best. So if the Father won, I'd be fine with that. But I'd be very shocked if anything else won besides Nomadland. So yeah. Anyways, like, share, subscribe, and stuff like that. And adios.